Yeah. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, it's a brand new night, a brand new show, and it is a big number tonight for us in the podcast world. As always, we are unedited, unfiltered, and we are going raw. My name is Joey.
And I'm Eric, and we're your hosts, and welcome to Raw Minds. 20 motherfucking 3, man, right off the bat. There we go. Let's go.
Yeah, most people are hitting the 50s and the hundreds, but why 23 is such a big number in the podcast world? Because 90% of all podcasts don't make it to this point, and we did. So, well done, sir. Well done.
Well done.
Well
Yeah,
done.
exciting, man.
And we keep rolling, and
Yep.
we ain't stopping.
No.
We're gonna hit 50 and 100.
Um,
Yep.
I mean, it's a good week coming up here. My birthday, your birthday. I mean, we just hit 23. We're killing it. So look at us go. We
Yeah,
made
your
it.
birthday this week. Your
Yeah.
birthday this week. Mine next week.
Yeah, man.
Getting old.
Yeah. Whatever. It sucks. I don't know, man. It just feels the same to me. To be really, I don't know. I don't. I probably in my early 30s is when I started feeling like I felt like I was 60 from work, definitely. But I mean, mentally, I don't know. I feel the
Well,
same.
it also goes with your lifestyle and where you're at in your life, regardless of your age.
Yeah,
Because 6, 7 years ago, I was 272, fat, overweight, depressed, stressed, not happy with the job I was in. And fast forward to now, the best shape I've ever been in, the most clarity mentally I've ever had. I have a great job and great people around me, great family, great, you know what I mean? So, age, where I sit at almost 42 years old, um, coming up, is better than I sat when I was 30.
yeah,
Just how I feel, how I look, that's all of it.
hundred
So
percent.
age is just a number, man. It's the life that you are living and where you're at in your life and how that makes you feel. You know what I mean? Are you taking care of yourself mentally and physically?
Definitely, man. I mean, I'd rather go down, have a fucking wagyu steak for my birthday, and then come home and watch Netflix. That would be the best birthday present for myself and my best scenario. Give me a wagyu steak and some Netflix, and I'm okay. I'm happy, man. I mean, at COVID, I never like COVID the whole time, man. I spent 3 of my 3 birthdays watching Netflix. I think that's what conditioned me really to that shit. But
Yeah, cuddling up in a snuggie,
yeah,
watching The Notebook.
yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. Well,
Yep. But and again, it's where we are. It's the lifestyles that we choose to live, right?
yeah,
So
yeah. Well, speaking of the Notebook,
million.
we have a love story here between two friends, me and you, Joey. And look where we're going.
A love story.
You know what I mean.
Slow down here, dude. Slow down there, buddy.
I'm fucking with your head, brother. No, but seriously, speaking of all that shit, man, I honestly, you know, I can't thank you enough for getting to this point. I mean, I wouldn't be here without you, and vice versa, man. And I just want to say thank you, man. Thank you. This is, like I said, a big day that we that's in our I don't know what you would call it, big day in our podcast world.
In
So
the podcast world in general,
yeah, man. So I just want to
we
say
we even
thank you, man. Honestly, thank you. All jokes aside.
yeah, man. It's we've come a long way so far, and the lives that we've touched and the people that we've helped and tried to help. That's why we do this, right?
Yeah,
We we've been there, you know. And if you guys are new listening to the show, like we have lived, I don't know, most of our lives in pain and struggle and trauma and abuse and suicide attempts and loss of families to you name it. And that's why we got together to finally pull the trigger on this. And you know, it's I'm beyond grateful, you know, and this is kind of our therapy as well. You know, no matter how good your life is and no matter what how good you get your life to, because
Mhm.
mine is night and day from what it used to be, it's there's still life.
Oh yeah.
Every day you wake up, life is just waiting for you.
Yeah.
You're gonna get punched in the face, you know, and it's finding the tools and how to deal with those things better when they do come. And you know, and I have hard days just like anybody else. Still,
Yeah.
I'm in an amazing place compared to last before where I was, but I still have hard days. We all do, man. We all still struggle. You know, you don't forget things in your past. You just gotta learn to deal with it and move forward so they're no longer a trigger in your life.
Yeah.
Right. So, but we you know, it's like we always say, man, it's okay not to be okay. And it's okay to take a knee for a day or two. And, you know, we're human beings. You know, we have emotions. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to feel down, but it's not okay to stay down. Right. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
being able to do this every week, man, and the lives that we touch, like I said, it's not only has it touched other people's lives, and we've really helped a lot of people in the time that we've been doing this. It it it, it helps me, you know. And when I have struggles in my own life, and you know, the mental battles that we carry in our own minds, you know, some days are extremely hard. You know, like you know, last week, you know, we weren't able to actually for the first time put out or upload our episode last week. You know, and this kind of goes to what I'm just saying now is, you know, I got to a point where I was struggling for a few days where, you know, like panic attack, and I'm just trying to do positive things, and then that mental health where it kind of knocks you back, where you just got to be able sometimes to look at what you're doing, stop, refocus, reset, take a deep breath, and then hit it again, right?
Yeah, man.
So, but to sit here with you, buddy, it's an amazing journey, and it's going to continue this journey, and what we do going forward from here, man, is only going to get better, buddy. So if you guys are just tuning in and this is the first time you guys are listening to us, we are Raw Minds, the first podcast to do it on men's mental health. We are on all platforms, you name it, we there. So if you guys are really having a hard time out there as well, and you're struggling, and you need to just talk, and you got nobody to talk to you in, hit us up on the email rawmindspodcast@gmail.com. We answer all messages, phone calls, you know. And if you even want to come on as a guest, please reach out. You know, you want to share your stories and let men know, especially that, you know, it's okay to talk about these things, because you have to, man. You have to. You can't bury it. You gotta be able to deal with it and head it face on,
Definitely.
regardless if it triggers you or not. Because if once you can get through that, then you know down the road it's not going to trigger you anymore. You know, you're not going to forget it, but you'll be able to move forward and be present in the days, you know, and not be elsewhere because you're struggling and you didn't deal with it.
Yeah.
So it's not an easy journey, but if you want to get to that point of clarity, to never be triggered or feel like that anymore, you gotta face it head on. It's the only way to deal with it.
Yeah, man. Well, speaking of facing things head on, we have a guest today that's facing something head on right now. He's going through some shit, so he was kind enough to come out and and give on his take of what he's going through and the struggles, and the mental struggles definitely that it pays a toll on. So I just want to thank you, John, for coming out, man, and being brave and letting loose and being vulnerable, man. And welcome to Raw Minds, buddy. So thank you.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. Yeah, I look like crap right now, to be honest. Mainly because I haven't been sleeping very well. A lot of stress, anxiety. Kind of give you a backstory. I was in a relationship for 10 years. Had my daughter. Uh, Everything was great. Uh, didn't really go well in the end. We kind of just drifted apart in the relationship as far as that goes. And I started resenting my daughter from that relationship, and that was kind of when I knew to step away. Um, and it was a little bit rough, but I made through it. It wasn't that bad. And then skip ahead. She's 7 now. About 5 years ago, I was with my other ex. We had a kid. My little boy is 3 years old now, and did everything for that relationship. I really, really tried. Didn't pan out, and basically been pushing for the last year and a half, 2 years, and going on 2 years, pushing for split custody, just like 50-50 shared, same days I have my daughter. And like for the first 2 months, I didn't have my son. Like that was probably the most brutal thing when you're doing every day with that kid, like drop offs, pickups, dinner, lunch, everything, like potty training, like you're doing everything. And then you just go from that to like zero contact with your kid, and then being told like, yeah, you can see him next week. And then, oh wait, no, you can have a FaceTime phone call. I'm like, that's he's like 1, 2 years old. Like he doesn't know what a FaceTime is. He's gonna look at the phone and
Hmm.
not want to, you know what I mean? It's not the same.
Yeah, it's not that
So I went
physical.
through that. Yeah, no, it's not physical at all. And it's
Oh,
like I went through that for about two months, to the point where I had a get a little personal here. I had two wellness checks performed on me. One, I was actually brought to the hospital for attempted suicide. Um, they didn't. They let me go. They checked me. I like talked to a psych and had to go through therapy.
was that
They,
because of like you not seeing your son that you went down
it
that
was
route?
it, it was that and a lot of mind games from my ex. So like
Hmm.
she was never like that when we were together. I like, or I just didn't see it. I don't know. Hindsight 2020, they say, right? But like, I never saw that side of her. And then it was like a lot of like, you can see him, and then you can't see him, and then you can see him, and then you can't see him. Like
Hmm.
you're a good dad, but then you're a shit dad. You were never there for him. Like you never did any of that. I'm just like,
Definitely mind games then, and playing with your
yeah,
mental
like, and
health.
I'm like, yeah, and I knew I was there. I knew I was like, I went to every like doctor's appointment. She had like work meetings, and he had a surgery, and I was there for that. I sat through the whole surgery and then talked to the doctors after, and then had to relay all that information back to her. So like I know, man, I built like a 24-foot balloon arch for his birthday, like by myself. So like I was there, I know that, but like going through that and like just being told over and over again, like it just, as much as you want to believe that you were there, I started believing that I wasn't. It was weird. It was like I started going to like this dark place where like as much as I knew in my head that I was there for my son, I started believing that I wasn't there for my son, and I let him down and I failed him. And then that's why the relationship failed, I guess. But and like I started blaming myself for everything. Like it was pretty bad. It was like you kind of just take everything on yourself, and just it got really really bad. And then just the mind games did not help. It was just like prime example is like, oh yeah, she wanted me to sign a consent letter so he could go across to the states. And
Hmm.
then it was just like, I'm like, I don't feel comfortable with that. Like, I haven't seen my kid in like 2 months. Like, why would I? I don't feel comfortable signing so you can just take him out of the country, because like I don't know if he's gonna come back to the country at that point, right? And
Yeah,
then
he
it was like,
just run away. You never know.
yeah, and I
Mhm.
guess that's what I was like. She's like a half El Salvadorian, like a lot of family out there, and like half Caucasian, white, whatever, from Canada, right? So it's like
Mhm.
she could go there and just never come back. I don't know. So like that was my concern. So I was it was a lot of just, and with the way she was mental with mind games, like you can see him, you can't see him, you can see him, like I just didn't know, right? So yeah, she did that for like 2 months straight, and then there was an incident where we're doing drop off. Like she dropped him off to me for. I literally got to take him to pizza for an hour and a half. Go get dinner, just me and him, and then she came and picked him up, and we were supposed to do an agreement that was supposed to be like similar shared custody what I have with my daughter, and she came at me with like this bullshit agreement, like 3 pages, like giving sole custody to her. I could have visitation rights, like, but I have to request it, and I have no say in anything in his life anymore. And I snapped, and there was a witness there. There was yelling, and like I regret yelling and like distressing my son. He started crying. Obviously, he's like 2 years old, like 1.5, 2 years old, and dad and mom were yelling at each other outside of my house, right, in my building. And then a witness came by, and she was walking her dog, and like, anyways, I stepped back. I called the cops. Cops came, and there was like, apparently she had talked to the cops alone first because like they assumed she called the cops, and then she told them that I was like assaulting her and like elbowing her and punching her in the head, and then the cops came over to talk to me where the witness was standing. And he was like, "Well, did you hit her? Like, what she's saying, you hit her, this, that." And I was like, I never laid a finger on her. I kept 5, 10 feet away. Like, I offered her my keys so she can get my son at least in the lobby until you guys showed up. And the witness vouched for me, thankfully, because they were going to arrest me for assault. The witness is like, no, he did everything by like how he should have. He stayed away from her. The only thing he was doing is trying to give his son like a jacket and keys to like be warm because it was cold out. And then they just warned me like it was a good thing that you had a witness. And then they told her that she has no rights. Like the court system in Canada is until there's an actual document formulated by the government, like it's 50-50 shared. Like there's no individual rights by either parent unless, like
Oh,
child
they
protective
can
services or something.
they can do whatever they want. They could like the parent can take the child, go anywhere they want, pretty much, except for
Yeah.
signing the paper, without any rights
Yeah.
like that. You need
Well,
to
you
go
can't.
through court. I mean,
Yeah, you can't bring them across the border, right?
yeah,
But
but I mean, you can go anywhere
yeah.
in Canada or wherever
Oh,
you.
100%.
Yeah, unless you
Yeah.
sign that
So
paper, right? Like you said.
yeah, so I wouldn't sign it. Obviously, I didn't want to lose my son, right? So like, and I told her like I fought hard for my daughter to the point where she's 7 years old. I've gone the last 4 years, same schedule. I actually have like a really good relationship with my ex now, who's now married, and like she starts some stuff up here and there, but like realistically, she says like, you're a good dad. My daughter, like, she's asked my daughter a couple times, like, do you want to just not, you want to stay with mom? And like my daughter was like straight up, no. Like, I love my dad. I want to go to dad's, and like vice versa. Like I try to promote that as well. Like she'll try this like Saturday for drop off. She's like, I want to spend one more night with you or one more day with you, and like I get to see you my days. Mom gets to see her days. Like I don't want to take away from her. Like if it's a special occasion, for sure. So like I'm very advocate of like having a mom and a dad in the kid's life, and like
Yeah,
as long as it's healthy,
definitely,
of course, right? Like
definitely.
if I had a concern, if I have a concern, like obviously I'm gonna raise that concern. Like I'm gonna raise that flag. Like this is an issue. Either fix it or like I can't have my kid in that environment. And that was kind of a lot of the situation with my son. Is he
Hmm.
was in a situation in an environment that I didn't like, and I was trying to get him out of that. And I had no rights. I basically felt like I had no rights. So both times where the cops came and talked to me, basically I just handed them my phone, showed them the text messages, conversations between me and my ex, because she tried to file a restraining order against me as well for harassment. And like it's like literally the cops gave me their cell phone numbers. I actually texted one of them a picture of me and my son having the pizza dinner, and he was like, I'm proud of you, man. You stuck to it. Because like a lot of dads, they either give up, or because the system's so broken, they give up. Like there was nothing I could have done. Like she took my son on it. There was nothing I could have done until it goes to court.
Yeah.
And it's like just do your court papers. Like I was at the court office the next day. Like do everything by the books. As soon as you start like breaking those rules, you hurt yourself. And a lot of dads, I guess, don't do that. They don't know. So and then like they get tilted. And like I was tilted. Like I was just so triggered. Like it's one thing to be with your kid and then just have that kid ripped from you. And like it's always I hear always like, a lot of advocates are like, oh, females this, female that, like, but no one really like you guys are the first guys that like talk about like the dads, right? The struggles of the dads, like fighting for your kids, losing your kids, um, and like trying to be there. And like everyone just assumes nowadays, like if you're a guy, like, oh, dead be dead, oh, dead be dead.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, I'm fighting every day. Like I'm in court every day. I'm doing my paperwork every day. Like I'm doing everything as I should do.
Yeah.
But like it's hard. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Oh, I feel your pain, buddy, man. Like I got two kids with two moms as well, and my son is 13 and my daughter is 7, and I haven't been with my son's mom his entire life, right? So his my son's never seen us together, but the first year of his life, oh, you it was same as you. Tilted, like it was court after court. I even filed a restraining order against her. 65 phone calls a day, random dudes showing up to serve me papers. It was just so bad. And back then, that's going 13 years ago now. You're obviously in a different place in life and you never had to go through that before. And like, I was so messed up. And like you, I was fighting and I was doing everything I could. I just wanted to see my son. And I remember, with a few other things going on in my life at that time, it was just one thing after another, and my son, when he was about 9 months old, when I was dealing with all this, I was so broken and depressed and shattered, and I couldn't lift my head up every day anymore. To the point where I thought, at that time, this is it. I can't do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a video of him crawling, and then the next day I tried to kill myself, and that video saved my life, and my son saved my life. So I understand going through that mentally, and it wasn't good, man. But I fought, and you hear a lot too, and you mentioned about deadbeat dads. Is I've heard this quite a bit, especially in the construction world. Is I hear a lot of excuses and guys saying, "Well, I have my ex is crazy and I haven't seen my kid in 6 months, and you don't understand." Like, yeah, I do understand. It's like you're not fighting hard enough. You're making excuses and you're not really caring as much because it doesn't matter how crazy they are. That's your kid, and you fight for them. And I can't even communicate with people like that. They're just pieces of shit to me when you use your kids as excuses, or with these
Pawns, man.
women using pawns and using
Yeah,
these
man.
kids as pawns. Like, this has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with these children. And
Mm-hmm.
whatever differences you guys have as parents, we talked about this a long time ago, man. It's you have no idea the destruction this causes those children by ripping from a parent, bringing it back, ripping. There's abandonment issues. Then some of these women are what's the word? They coerce the kids and what to think and say about the other parent, and they talk bad about the parent in front of the kids, and you don't want to go to your dad's because he doesn't want to see you when really he does,
Mm-hmm.
and all
It's
this fucking polluted bullshit that
it's
just
it's funny you say that, Joey, because I like probably like 2 weeks ago, my son kept telling me he didn't want to live with me anymore. He wanted to go back to his mom's, didn't want to stay here. And I asked him why he said that, and I recorded it too because I was like, I'm fighting every day for court custody, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I recorded, and I just asked him, like, I was like, hey man, like why say that to me? Like you have fun, right? We had fun this weekend, right? And he's like mom and Frank, that's her new boyfriend. Mom and Frank told me to say that to you. It crushed me, man. Just crushed me. I didn't say. I was like, oh, it's so cool. I was just curious. I was just curious. I can't say anything to him, right? He's like 2 years old. what am I supposed to? You can't hurt him, right? It's not his fault. He doesn't know what he's saying. But like to have your kid say that, and then just to hear that, like that's coming from the mom trying to tell him to say that, like it's just
Mm-hmm.
so twisted, man. Like just
That's
so
what we
detrimental.
talk about, right? That's the pawns. They use these kids as pawns to get at you, man. You know, which is it's fucking sad. Like Joey just said, like you're hurting the kids. You know, fucking come at
The
me all
kids,
you want, man, but fucking leave the kids out of it. You know.
Yeah. No, I feel that,
but
man. Like,
but I also understand, on our side because I mentioned about my son in court. Well, my daughter, who's 7, we split up when my daughter was a month old, and that went straight to court. So I had to fight 2 women with 2 kids on 2 different, times of my life, and both of them weren't easy because it's false accusations. They did this. One had me arrested, my son's mom years ago over bullshit. And then when you read her, I actually still have it. I just found it the other day, actually, the old police her statement from 13 years ago. And the reason I wasn't charged, because for one, it was bullshit, but you read the statement, the first page is different from the second page to the third page of her own statement in the same interview. So they knew she was just making shit up.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that, man, because that fucked me up. And then having to go to court for my daughter was like a PTSD because I'm like, a second kid, I'm doing this again.
Yeah.
And I was a fucking mess, man. My anxiety through the roof. I was struggling, crying, fucking shaking. I'm just like, even though I knew I was doing everything right and she had nothing, it's still the process. It still fucks you up in the head. It's just like, she tried to give me 2 hours every Sunday. I'm like, you out of your fucking mind.
But not just
And
that. You
but
got your PTSD going through, like you said, from the other one too, right? So you're dealing with that as
oh,
well
it
in
was
your
a
mind,
huge
heavy.
that was a
Yeah. Yeah.
huge trigger because I'm like, and then at that time, especially when I went through it the second time, not only was it like a PTSD because I already dealt with this before and how bad it was to the point where I almost killed myself. It was also me feeling like a failure, like
Mm-hmm.
because I have 2 kids, but I've never had the family of being able to come home and see my kids every day or coming home from work and seeing my kids. I've never had that unless my dad's visiting from out of town, which he just left last week, which I'm grateful for because I don't ever get that. But in the 13 years I've been a father, I never had that. So when I went to court the second time, I felt like a failure because I didn't have a family like that, and
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
always wanted that. But then after all my therapy and all fucking dealing with all this shit and fixing myself over time, and I look back, it's there is a reason for it because I was fucked up. I was struggling with all this other shit that just added to it, and then this added to it, and I never dealt with it. So
Yeah.
how could I have possibly had a proper family and a relationship when I look back? Because I couldn't, because I was struggling. I didn't deal with my own shit.
Misery loves
So
company, man.
right. So, but when we go through these things, is guys got to realize too is it's being unreactive. And it's so hard when you have, especially when you're a good dad and you love your kids and they're calling you a fucking deadbeat. And like you said, go tell dad that you don't want to live with them. Like, fuck,
yeah,
dude, I'd flip tables. That's heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Why would anyone say that to a kid? You're the fucking deadbeat. But when you hear that 100%, that's a trigger that makes you fucking go, like, you know what I mean?
yeah. It's
And
just
like, but in that is the hardest part. In that is to not be reactive and just do what you're doing. Like if you're going through the court system and the court battle like you're doing and you're already doing it, documents the messages, save it all,
yeah,
write it down. And if she's gonna, I got to a place finally where if they're barking and fuck you, and I just hang up the phone, I don't even engage because I used to be the guy that was screaming on the phone in the middle of fucking Save on Foods parking lot because that's where I got the call. Middle of the mall. I didn't care. Fuck you, fucking bitch. Fucking losing it because they're triggering you and setting you off. Right. But all that did was just make me worse. But when you get to that point of just like, hey, you know what? You want to act like this? Click and leave it. And
Yeah.
then
Well,
if it's going to that court, because I tell you, is one thing I noticed with my exes is they tire themselves out because you're not reacting,
Mm-hmm.
and it becomes less often that they are going to talk to you like that or do that, believe it or not, because they're not getting a reaction from you. They know that triggers you, right?
Yeah.
So when my ex used to be like, "You're a fucking deadbeat," but I was there every week, but she just said it just because she knew it fucking pushed my buttons. But if you can get to that point of not being reactive and, you know, and let them basically tire themselves out. And then when it gets to court, you have this, this, and this, and the judge, and she's gonna spout off this, and he did that. Like I don't like the things that I heard that I apparently was because she knew she had nothing. She was making shit up. I actually started laughing at one point. I'm like, I'm what? Huh? Because she had nothing. She was literally pulling from fucking thin air, trying to make herself look somewhat good, and
Mm-hmm.
I ended up winning anyways, like what I asked for. And but it's being if let them just talk
Self-aware,
and
man.
don't engage. Don't
Yeah.
engage. As hard as it
Yeah.
is, some days we just want to like, I'm fucking smash this computer right now because you know you just got to breathe, literally, because the definition of anger is emotional punishment you cause yourself because of someone else's bad behavior. So when you get like that and you flip tables, you're making your days worse and them win,
Well,
right?
just think
Because if
about it,
they
man.
if
Well, think about it, bro. Look at say, like you're saying, you're screaming in the middle of the parking lot on the phone, and you get all these people looking at you like, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy?" Now you're like, imagine you go to the Safeway or whatever it is. You go there every day, right? Or not every day, and that's where you go to shop and get your food. Now you're screaming your head off, acting all crazy. Your fucking hands are flailing all over the place, veins popping through your head. Man, it's not a good look for yourself. You know what I mean? And you can't let these people get you to that point. You have to have self-aware. You have to be aware of like what you're gonna do. You can't just have these people be able to press this fucking button and make you go off like that. You need to be able to have like a fucking thing over that button so no one can press that button, right? And you got to get to that point, and that's
and if
that.
somebody can and if somebody has that much power over you to make you get like that, that
Mhm,
means whatever has gone on with you before that in the past, you haven't dealt with.
mhm.
Because if you've dealt with it and moved on from it, whatever it is, whether they've done something to hurt you, you're heartbroken, whatever, is you haven't accepted or dealt with it yet. So you're still in your head about that person or what they've done. So smaller things, you make them that much bigger because you haven't faced them.
Yeah.
So now you're fucking freaking out and smashing tables, over someone who is an idiot, but now they're winning because they're living rent free in your head. And if
Mhm.
look at it like this, if they do something and they trigger you and you go and punch holes in your own walls or whatever you're doing for a week and they could see you doing it from a distance, they would be laughing at you because they're winning. They'd be like, what a fucking. So
Yeah.
why let these people? And I understand it because, especially when children are involved, it is so much harder when you know that all you want to do is just see your kid. I don't give a shit about you. I don't care who you date. Just let me see my kid. That's it. Why is this a big problem? But girls that act like that and what he's dealing with is I don't think she's even dealt with the past of, with you two or whatever, because she wouldn't be going after and doing these things that some women do either, because they're
Mhm.
still holding on to something. Doesn't mean that she's still in love with them or anything, but there's something there that she's holding on to. And whatever reason, people hold these
Power,
grudges
man.
for fucking years,
It's
for
power.
It's
years.
100% is power. You can
Power,
tell
bro.
because like a lot
Power.
of the messages she'll send me is like randomly text me about like how she's not doing well, and I'm like, hey, well, go tell that to your boyfriend. Like I don't care anymore. All I care about is my
So,
kid. All I care about is my son, and
Mhm.
like it took me a while to get to that point. Like 100%. Like for the first 6 8 months, I was like she'd say stuff, and I would get
Yeah.
so mad or I'd get so depressed, right? Like and she knew it. She knew it got to me. Like she, why you just care because I'm dating someone new or you this that, like saying comments like that. I'm like, you know what? Like I had to. Well, luckily I have all of our conversations and stuff, which I've for like the entire 5 years we were together, and I had to go through that for like building my case for this court hearing to get my son back. Reading through that actually helped a lot, like for me personally, to see kind of where I messed up in the relationship, where she messed up in the relationship, and like to let it go, to like, you know what I mean? To just let it go, like not care anymore and not stress about it. And like, I've gotten to the point where like, even my son will
That
be like,
shit's
oh
done,
yeah,
man.
like
You know what I mean? It's
Frank
done.
or
That
dad or
relationship's
whatever.
done.
Yeah, like someone will tell me about like,
Yeah.
Frank took him to go do something or whatever. And like, it doesn't even phase me
Yeah.
anymore. Like, I'm like, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's fine. As long as I get to
Yeah.
spend my time with you, like that's fine. And then because
Mm.
of that's the only way she can get to me now. It's like she went to court. We went to court actually just like last week, and I was fucking bad for like 3 days. I kind of shut off my phone for 4 days, missed work, like almost fucked up a contract that I had for work. My work buddy was having to clean up for me, and like he knows what I'm going through, obviously. So he's there for me, right? Like
Mm.
having that person there for you is great help.
You need a
But
support
like,
group.
yeah, exactly, right? Like have that person there. But yeah, like we went to court. She acted all, civil. Like you're a great dad. Like your son loves you, and we started communicating like civilly about just him. Like yeah, I started potty training him. He's not wearing diapers in my house anymore. He's going to the bathroom, but he's still wearing diapers at your house. Can you try this? And like she was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, no problem. And then we went to court, and it was like I had all this dirt and stuff to like plead my case to make sure I got my custody. And I didn't bring it because I assumed that it would be, we were both going for the same thing. We were both on the same page for the kid. And like, I'm just not affected by her seeing someone new, or I'm not affected by anything she says to me anymore. Like, it just doesn't bother me when it comes to us. And then she just
She
all
snaked you.
these lies about like, yeah, snake me. I was like,
Yeah.
he's abusive, he's unstable mentally, this, that. Like, and I'm like, I have all the evidence at home to prove that this is not the case, and the judge basically gave her custody. So I had to reapply. As soon as we got out of court, I got the court summary sheet, and then I had to basically reapply for a new court date to appeal that uh, the judge's decision.
Mm-hmm.
So we go back now on the 4th, and I have everything together. So now I got to go back with all that. So I don't know what's going to happen. I know I have enough stuff to prove that what she's saying, everything she said, is basically false. Everything that I'm doing is right, and as I should be doing.
Well, now it's time to pull out the big guns, I guess, and fight for your rights.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you.
just
You shouldn't have put your guard down, because I mean, I
yeah,
don't fucking trust anybody anymore off of anything. As you know, I mean, like there's different degrees. I mean, but I mean, like
yeah,
you, man, I've been through so much shit with my kid's mom, man. Never put your guard down. I mean, fuck, she just got arrested on Sunday on Easter. It's like, fuck, that's the shit I got to deal with, man. It's
yeah.
just
It just never ends, right?
it never ends, man. Never ends. But you know what? You just fuck. You just all you can do is take care of you. You know, and that's all that.
Yeah, I let it slip. I let it
No,
slip.
man.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah, man.
Fucking
100%. I'm gonna tell you right away. You did, bro. You did. But it's
yeah.
okay,
But I've
man.
bounced back.
But you made the right decision there, and you went and you're gonna come back now with everything. But just I'm
Yeah,
telling you, man, like, if it's dirty, like it's dirty, like yours, mine's dirty, Joey's, yours. I mean, luckily yours is a lot better now. You've gone through the ringers. But I mean, man, when it's dirty, bro, like it's dirty, man. And they'll play at whatever games they can to try to manipulate you or change the agenda, like she did. Everything was fine, oh, it's fucking all fucking bunnies and fucking roses, and then when
yeah.
you get in there, it's fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, we screwed you, ha ha ha. You know what I mean? You gotta be careful, man. I'm just to one parent
Well,
to
and a lot of
another.
people, And a lot of them too have outside influence, I'm sure, barking in their
Definitely.
ear as well, right? Like, what
Yeah.
are you doing? Don't trust him. Let's do this. You should say
Yeah.
that. And you know what I mean? But regardless, when it comes to the battles and the co-parenting, like that's between you two, not the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the kids, because the damage that these women, especially, they're shitty guys, don't get me wrong, but with what you're dealing with, what I've had to deal with twice, like it was so bad. I'm like, do you not realize that you're not putting your kids first? This is all your selfish acts and behaviors. This is because of how you feel about that person, about what they did to you 3 years ago, or how you can't get over the fact that they cheated or whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. Absolutely has nothing to do with those children, because I know plenty of people who are shitty boyfriends and girlfriends, but amazing parents. So whatever it is that you guys have had, that your differences, you're stuck together for the rest of your life.
Or at least till
Whether
he's
you're with
18.
them, you know
I
what I mean.
call it the 18-year sentence.
Yeah, man.
Prison sentence.
I mean, man, like my kid's
But
mom, her boyfriend, me and him got along. I mean, I went out and bought a Halloween costume for him on Halloween, and we went out and fucking trick or treated and stuff, and took my daughter out. I mean, it can get there, but then I hate to say it, but then she just messed that all up. You know what I mean? But I mean, it can get there, but it's a fucking battle, bro. I'm telling
I
you,
feel
it's a
like
battle.
I feel like based off the situation I have with my ex for my daughter, and it's kind of like what Joey says. Like they clearly have something. They're, I don't know. It's obviously not love, but they're holding on to something, right? That,
Yeah,
like you're
100%
saying, power,
resentment or something.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I've gone the last 3 years trick or treating with my daughter's mother and her husband and my daughter for my kid, right? Like
Hmm.
I went trick or treating with them as a family, and
Hmm.
like we didn't make it awkward. I get along with her husband now. Like we talk more than me and my ex talk.
No, it's about the
So
kids,
like, but
man.
it, yeah, yeah. And
That's all it is.
I don't know, man. I wanted that. I wanted to get there with this one, and like I don't know, man. She just likes to play games, and it's been tough. Like it's been tough for sure.
Hmm.
Just
That's
keeping,
still
like you
it's still
said, Joey
fresh
too,
though,
is like,
too. It's still fresh too. You know
yeah,
what I mean? It is fresh. So cross fingers. Hopefully that
yeah.
things come around and change. Definitely, I do wish all the best for you guys in that. Because I think that every kid deserves to have both parents in their lives. You know, it's I think it's really important. But as long as at the end of the day, as long as there's one parent that is holding up that value, the goodness, that's all a kid really needs. But I mean, they should have both parents. So I do wish the best for you,
Oh,
but it's hard. I get it. It's hard, man. I deal with it on a daily basis. I deal with it all the time. Joey knows I vent to him all the time. It's like I said, she just got arrested. Like it's a nonstop battle. But it's
but it's also way better for the children to have two parents in their lives
hmm
that are separated than two parents together in the same house that are miserable, toxic, and because it causes the children way more damage, and people don't realize it, because there's a lot of people that stay
yeah,
together for the
yeah.
kids, but
Monkey see,
they're so
monkey do,
unhappy,
man. They're gonna see them
and it's
fighting.
way more damaging than you just part ways and figure it out from there.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean, and get over whatever it is that happened in your relationships and try to move forward with that, because your children will be a lot better off than staying or trying to be with somebody, and it's just not going to work, or you're forcing it, or it's toxic, or you're just so unhappy and down that your needs aren't fulfilled, and you
hmm
know what I mean. So but
My
you
my
just
well, what I say, my best advice, man, is just take the high road, bro. But do what is best, right? Definitely.
Yeah, I try to take the high road in the court
Yeah.
case,
It's hard, man. I'm telling you, it's
but
hard. Fuck, is it
I'm like,
hard, man?
right? I'm like, I don't want to bury her. I don't want to like
No, but
ruin
I
her
mean, like,
image
that
because,
shit
like,
you're
at the end of the day,
protecting,
that's
like, you're
yeah.
protecting your son and everything like that. I mean, at the end of the day, is she a bad mother though?
I don't think so. No, I think at the end of the day, she'd do anything for her for my
Well,
son, right?
you know,
Like,
you like Eric said, you want to take the high road. You know, you're a grown adult. You don't want to stoop to these fucking childish games.
yeah,
But when it comes to the court battles of just getting the visitation for your children, I think there's a bit of a difference from coming at them and then coming at them in court legally,
Hmm.
yeah,
right? So if you're looking from what you're saying, like she just went in there fucking trying to bury you and
yeah,
make you look like a piece of shit. Well, you just said, well, I don't want to, ruin her name, but she's ruining yours,
Hmm.
yeah. That's
right? So
so
in the court side, bring what you have, and it is not to go and like bury her name. This is to be around your son as much as possible. There's a little bit of a difference, right? Because in my history of fighting for two children in courts, is they do not want to hear bashing or they did this and he's that, and they don't want to hear that because they really the court doesn't want to make decisions for children. They don't want, that's not really their job, but they have to because two parents can't figure their shit out. So when you go in there professional, just say, you know what, I just want to see my son. And here's, this is, if she's saying this, then you have to argue that, right? There's a difference from trying to bury her and proving what she is saying is false,
Exactly.
right?
yeah,
And if you go in there and saying, well, she's fucking crazy and this and that, they'll shut you down. They don't want to hear that shit. But
Yeah.
you're just going in there and just saying, look, just read this, man. All I want, and then your sincerity alone, because you're a good man that wants to see your children,
Hmm.
is just say, man, look, I, I don't want to fight. And when you're showing that you genuinely don't want to, rather than fuck this bitch and she's doing this, the tables will turn, man, because it's getting a lot better these days for men. It's a lot better than it used to for sure.
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
But when you're able to go in there and you can be guns blazing in a different way,
Hmm.
where it's just
yeah.
like you got to back up now all the bullshit she's telling the judge and the lawyers. If it's false, then you have to prove it because they're looking at you like it's true right now.
That's
So
the
now
shitty
it's
Yeah,
like,
part, man. You know?
well, and that's
yeah,
the shitty part
Yeah.
yeah.
until you
There's,
can prove otherwise. So I
Guilty and
will.
proven innocent. When I'm
yeah,
So
like,
guilty and proven innocence. Yeah.
in the court perspective, dude, you got to go in there and fucking rip heads off, but in a different way, and just being like, no, 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 this is it. I'm not like this. Here's proof. You read it, make up your mind, and then they'll start to turn the tables once you show 5,000 messages and whatever else.
dude, 5,000 pages PDF format of our text conversations, and like even at the end, it's literally I've highlighted off and tabbed it I have a binder like this thick,
Yeah,
and
but you know
Perfect,
what?
man.
You bring in, because most people aren't as prepared as that over
yeah,
years. It's like a couple months or whatever.
yeah.
But you just showing that without them even looking at it, they'll be like,
Oh
"Fuck, this
shit.
guy's got something." They'll be like,
Oh
"Oh
Yeah.
fuck!"
shit.
But
Yeah.
that,
I'm hoping that's like, and I didn't go after like, oh, you did this or you did this during relationship or you did this during like parenting. It's even like like prime example is like near the end when we were splitting up, and she's like, well, if we break up, like, how are we gonna do like the custody? And I literally wrote her, I'm like, I want my son to have both parents. That's all I care about. Two loving parents. I want 50-50 shared custody, and I would like the same days as I have my daughter, so that they can, he can
Makes
have a
sense.
relationship with his sibling,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And that's all I've asked for, like multiple times throughout this entire situation. Is like I've been asking for this from day one. It's just I just want it to be fair, and I want my kid to have both parents. Like I don't want full custody. Like I probably have enough dirt to get full custody, but I don't want to take away. Like my son loves my mom, he loves his
Yeah.
mom, right? Like I don't want to take that away from him. But
Well, let
then,
me
like
ask you
when he
this,
grows up,
man. Let me ask you this. How does
yeah.
your son's mom feel about your daughter?
My daughter,
Yeah.
she fucked her up really bad. So my daughter is actually in therapy now. So she built a bond with her acted like her mom, built that bond, and I tell you what broke up this the relationship is kind of put more in depth in this. So we got together. I didn't introduce her for like a year to my daughter, and
That's
then
good.
when I thought things were getting serious, then I introduced them. We went for dinner like together, all three of us, um, and then they got along. Like she got to ask her some questions, like and like yeah, it's my friend. And then we started dating, and she built a bond. Like she called my ex mom, and they used to go like girly dates and this and that. Like like so they got really really close. And the last year and a half that we were together, her 15-year-old sister from Toronto and her 18-year-old brother from Toronto were getting kicked out of their home, and her sister was going to end up in foster care. And I was there for her. I'll fight with you, but I want to do it right. I don't want to just take her in here and just have it be like a bad situation after bad situation like that. I want to give her a chance. So she came to us basically. She was doing like 50 nick vaping at 15, smoking weed, dab pens, like all this shit. And I'm like, I don't like
Yeah, going down a bad
failing
path.
school, going bad down a bad path,
Yeah,
failing school.
yeah.
I fought actually, went to a bunch of meetings and got her out of the SPED special education school into a normal high school that's close by where she can make normal friends. I like picked her up. I took her to go get her little sister go get her nails done, like paid for that. So like I tried to be there for that. And the problem occurred when the 18-year-old brother came, and he didn't help out or anything. Or that's what she told me. She's like, I'm struggling, like I need more help financially with groceries. I'm like, okay, well, how much money do you need? Like, what do you need? Like, just tell me, I'll do it, whatever, right? Like, I was just there, give. Um, and the only thing that started a problem, which is actually why CPS got involved on her end, was the sister and the brother started smoking weed around my kids, and like dab penning, vape penning, like I caught the brother smoking a dab pen underneath a bunk bed, underneath where my daughter was sleeping, and I lost my shit because
Mhm.
I'm like, this is my like 5-year-old little girl, and you're smoking weed. It's going right up into her mattress. Like, I don't want my 5-year-old little girl breathing that shit in. Like,
Mhm.
everyone, I don't care if you smoke weed. I don't care. Like, it's legal. Go smoke, whatever. Do it
Go
outside.
outside. Yeah,
Go outside, right? Like, I
yeah.
got a freaking like 25-foot balcony, like stretched out. Go outside. Like, it's right there, man. Like 2 feet away. And he wouldn't do it. And I would go to her, and it got bad because she's like, well, you don't talk to him. I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it. Because she didn't want me dealing with it because she thought I was being a dick to him, or he was going to get upset and have a temper tantrum and leave or run away. And then the sister, like, it was just a mess.
Well, at the end of the
So I
day, get the
couldn't,
fuck out then, man. That's what I would
well,
say, you know?
that's the thing. I let him live with me for a year and a half, no rent, no nothing, provided for him, helped him get a job, bought him tools, got him a job in construction doing form work. Um, and like, she would always come to me like, you're putting a divide in the family every time I spoke up. And I'm like, I'm only speaking up for three things: have them clean up after themselves, or help me clean up the house. Cause like I'm doing everything myself, working my full-time job, starting a business, taking care of the kids, doing drop-off pickups. Like, you're at work all the time. I'm doing everything, cooking dinner, making sure they're all fed. Don't smoke around the kids, whether it be vaping, like 50 nicotine right in their face, pretty much, or like even her dad smokes. I'm like, dude, your dad smokes, your brother smokes weed. They don't do that around the kids. So if they have enough, respect for our children to not do that around the kids, then yeah, she just always like, you're putting a divide in the family. Every time I said anything about it, I'm like, well, are you going to deal with it? And then the really fucked up thing that really messed me up, actually, which is when I tried to commit suicide, was 2 nights before she left me. She woke up and texted me that she was leaving me, and then trying to sort out the custody battle with my son. We went to the States. I took her to the States, and she told me she loved me. We were going to make it work, and she was going to talk to her siblings and figure it out and work with me. And then 2 days later in the morning, she wakes up, texts me on the way to work saying, I'm leaving you. How is this going to work? Are you going to make, like, how is you going to make the separation? And I was just broadsided, like, just, I didn't see it coming. I didn't know. Like, I'm like, wait, what? Like, you know what I mean? So that fucked me up mentally. And then even then, like I have the text messages. I'm like, you know what? Like you're
But you
not
did see it,
happy, and that's
man.
what you want.
You did see it. You did.
Yeah, I saw it, her
She's
pulling away over and over again,
yeah,
making
but I mean, she
excuses.
she did it the first time, so who says that she's not gonna do that again, right?
Yeah,
That's the
no,
red
for sure.
flags right there, man.
But yeah, but you don't see it when you're in the moment, right?
In the
Hindsight's
moment, I
2020.
get it, yeah, but
Yeah,
like you do see it, but you're just not paying attention to it, is what it is, right?
yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah. So that's the thing. Like you just got to be. I guess I'm more aware now, even when I
yeah,
go on dates now. It's like things they say about like parenting or things they say about kids or like everything just like right away now. I'm just like, okay, well maybe that's a concern. Maybe
yeah.
I gotta like dig deeper on this. But yeah, like I have text message from back then, like when she first like ended it. I'm like, I want my kid to have both parents. Like if we can do 50-50 shared. So like from day one I've been asking for this. And then like
Mhm.
it sucks to I don't know if there's any guys watching this, but if you're in the same situation, like you feel like you're fucking losing the battle every single day because you're not getting your kid.
Mhm.
You're doing everything you're supposed to do. Everyone's telling you, even the courts, the police, everyone's telling you doing everything like you're supposed to do. Keep strong, keep doing it. But you're like you're waiting. Like I've waited like 6 months to go to court
Hurry up and wait kinda
because
thing.
things were backed up. Yeah, right. Like
Yeah.
things are backed up from COVID, so you got to wait 6 months for a freaking court date.
Well, that was like Steve, like our guest, he came on and, he was kinda going through the same thing. I think that he just went to court not too long ago, or he's going to court coming up. It might be even on my birthday as well, April 4th, maybe. Um, and he's finally I think he's gonna win his case. So, if you are listening to this, Steve, we're happy for you, man, and, keep up the good work. But yeah, he's struggling, man. So it's a battle, man. I've struggled, Joey struggled, you struggle, Street. There's so many men out there that struggle with this shit. I mean, this was the cause of me trying to like I took fucking 3 bottles of pills and I was in a coma for 2 days. Thank God my buddy walked in the house and found me, man, because of this shit. My kid's mom ran away with my daughter for 3 months. I had no idea where the fuck she was. No, not like nothing. She got rid of her phone, had no social media. I couldn't find her. No one knew where the fuck she was, man. So like they put through these games, man, and it's fucking horrible. And at the end of the day, like we said, it's the kids that suffer, you know. Do whatever you want to us, but don't fuck with the kids, man. You know? I don't know. It's just fucking wild, man. It's wild what humans do to each other, man. It's fucking sickening. That's this you made this fucking person. You made this baby. You made this kid. And you put them through this turmoil because what? You have a grudge against this person that you used to be with? It's fucked up, man. It's fucked
Yeah,
up.
it's truly sad, man, because these kids, like, especially the age of your children, man, they just want to play. They want
Yeah,
mom and dad. They want to go to the park. They want to watch movies and eat junk food. That's it, but they're getting used and they don't even know it, and the damage that they're just causing these children, and especially ones that pollute their minds and get them to coerce statements and how they feel, and daddy,
It's disgusting.
mom said to tell you this, and it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. It is absolute, and then they go and try to make you like you're the piece of shit and you're the deadbeat. I'm like, man, any parent that you know we can talk extremely bad about the things that my exes have done to me and both of you, but that stays away from the children. You bashing your ex, mom or dad, in front of your children, and we've got in heated moments before, screaming in front of your kid because you're so triggered.
Yeah.
And it's hard to deal with because when it's about your children and you snap and you go red and you're not thinking that your little one is right beside you and you guys are screaming at each other.
Mm-hmm. Then you
Yeah, it's
feel
actually messed
bad,
up.
man.
Is Well, yeah, it's the messed up thing. So, like, I didn't trust her. So, like I said, like I was documenting everything, and I had actually been recording the whole conversation of this whole interaction where the cops were called, and all I hear is my kid fucking crying in the video, and I had to like sit there and listen to that with CPS because she tried to say it like I was doing this, that, and CPS left me alone. They're like, I showed them my phone, I showed them messages, I showed them the phone calls, and I even played the audio clip for them. Like they're
Mm-hmm.
just like, Jesus Christ, like just stay strong. Like we'll help you, but like this can't ever happen again because like we're here for the kids, right? And
Yeah.
I'm like 100%. Like I agree with them. Like the fact that I had to fucking listen to my kid crying like that because
Yeah.
like me and his mom were fighting. Like,
You know what though,
fuck,
man?
man.
I don't like those fucking guys. I'm sorry if you listen and you work for CPS. Fuck. I don't like you. I mean, I went through that shit. They took my daughter out of they took my daughter out of her mom's care and just fucking dropped her in my lap without helping with any resources. They said they were going to help me. They never did. Um, we're here for the kid, blah, blah, blah. They weren't, man. They just took her out of her mom's care and fucking threw her right in my lap. They did not help me. I ended up losing my job because of everything that happened. They never supported me. I've had them come into my life 5 times because of my kid's mom, man. And every time, oh yeah, we're here, we'll help you, don't worry. And they haven't. It's a fucking joke.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I
it
think
really is, man. I find every time it's came into my life, I find it's hurt my daughter more because of they just drop her in my lap. That's it. Without any support, any help. Oh, we're gonna support you. Don't worry, we got your back. They didn't. They didn't help me at all, man. I fucking struggle. I went to the meetings because we had to go to these meetings, and I was blatant out. I need fucking help. Please help me. Oh yeah, okay, we'll get you these resources. We'll get to you. They never got to me. I had to reach out every time, like, hey, like you guys just said you're gonna give me these resources. They just fucking dropped the ball. It was fucking brutal, man. So I don't know, man. I think that those people do not all the time, but in a lot of cases they do more pain than they do help. I find. I mean, I've heard other stories, the same thing. I don't
yeah,
know, but
they didn't do anything.
yeah, I told
They
you.
threatened to take my kid from both of us, and they
Yeah,
didn't really
man.
do anything for us.
No, they don't know
And I
fucking
was like,
shit,
okay, well,
man. That's all. They come in here and they just want to take the kid away. You think taking the fucking kid away is gonna fucking save anything? It's gonna hurt the kid more, especially when you have two good parents. I mean, one good parent out of the two, and like you said, they're trying to take away. Like it's, I don't know, man. I think they got to get way more educated and they got to change their whole fucking program. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. But I don't know.
Well, on that note, I think it is that time.
Yeah, buddy.
For all
Good
you
old
guys
hour.
listening out there, man, for you guys listening, it's always a pleasure for myself and Eric to come on here and talk to you guys and hopefully enlighten a little bit and teach a little bit and just be there for you guys. That's why we're doing what we do. If you guys are really having a hard time out there, you really don't know where to turn, myself, Eric will help you find the resources. Even if we don't live in your town, we'll make some phone calls and we'll get you the help that you need. So just know that you're not alone, and what you're dealing with, like a lot of people are dealing with as well. So reach out to us, rawmindspodcast@gmail.com. Myself or Eric will answer almost right away, pretty much. Anytime, any day, any hour, we got you. So hit us up. And on my end, I just want to say thank you, John, for coming on. It's been an honor, my friend, and I truly wish you the best in your court proceedings, and that it works out for you, man. You just is it's a hard battle,
Yeah.
short term. But I will say this is as hard as it was for me to go through that process, and for me to come out on the other side of that, knowing that I did everything right, and I still am or trying to, and even in the courts proving that what she was saying was false, and then I ended up getting the time that I wanted, as you will. Once that hammer hits the gavel hits down and the judge makes that order, your life will actually start to get better, because and I'm so grateful. And nobody wants to go to court. It's not easy, man. But the fact that you are and you have to will actually work out in your favor, because once that judge hits that gavel or swings, whatever you want to call it, that is it. She cannot argue it. She cannot go against it. She can just shut the fuck up, and then that's your days, and that's it. And then eventually they'll tire themselves out. You're not going to get triggered as much anymore, and eventually you'll start to heal a little bit, feel better about yourself, because then you can be the best version you can as a father in and for your kids, right? So I truly wish you the best, my friend, and please update us and let us know what happens.
For sure. Thank you guys for having me.
And on my end, man, if you can't find good people, be good people. Peace.
Yeah, John, thank you, man. Thank you for coming out and sharing with us. It takes a lot of
Yeah, it's not
courage to
easy,
do
but
this. No,
you
man,
guys are you
definitely
guys
not.
are really supportive, so and you've been
Yeah,
there, so
man,
it
that's what we're
helps.
here for. So it takes a lot of courage. So you know, kudos to you, big guy. We appreciate it. Um,
Thanks for having me.
well, yeah, man. I think that's a wrap. So on that note, be good or be good at it. Bye.
Yes.